Today I'm going to be showing you how to make one of my favorite puddings, Banoffee Pie. First things first, I have already used a blender to break down some digestive biscuits. I personally prefer McCavities, but you can use any kind of OT biscuit that you want. And I have melted 60 grams of butter. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to mix the two together to give it a bit more of a sticky consistency. And then I'm going to pour it into this oven-proof dish which I have selected and pat it all down so that it provides a good base. Now I personally don't like it when there's too thick of a base. If you want, you can always choose a slightly smaller dish or a slightly deeper dish, narrower dish to use this if you prefer a thicker base. Now I'm going to put this in the oven, which I've already preheated at 175 degrees for about 10 minutes. I have just taken the biscuit mix out of the oven at 175 degrees, where it has been sitting for about 10 minutes. Now make sure you don't touch the pan because it is very hot and you do not want to burn yourself. I am now going to take about 400 grams of Nestle caramel and make that the second layer to my dish. Now what you're going to want to do is just take sort of random spoonfuls and set them down on the biscuit. The heat from the biscuit will not melt, but will soften the caramel a little bit, which makes it much easier to spread. Now during this step, if some of the biscuit does come up and sticks to the caramel, don't worry, that is completely normal. As you can see, it's happening right now to me. And I actually think it adds quite a nice sort of flavoring because you don't just get a pure mouthful of caramel, you also get some of the biscuit in there and it just sort of involves all the different ingredients that we have added. So I also have the key element to this dish for the Banoffee pie is of course the bananas. I have thinly sliced 3 large bananas and I will be adding those as the third layer and then putting the dish in the fridge for a few minutes just to allow the biscuits to cool before I put the cream and the chocolate on so that it doesn't melt. So, now finished with the caramel, I'm going to add the bananas, as you can see. And you sort of want to place these evenly around the dish, not making sure that you don't miss any areas, that the bananas aren't too thin, just so that you get the overall taste. And of course, as it's a banana pudding, it is quite important. Now I'm just smoothing down the bananas, making sure that all areas are covered so that people don't complain that they didn't get enough banana in their slice. I'm now going to put this in the fridge for a few minutes just to allow the biscuits to cool a little bit before I put the cream on top. So I have just taken the Banoffee pie out of the fridge where it has been for about 15 minutes. I'm now going to add the 4th layer, which is 350 milliliters of double cream, which I have already whipped. If you wish, you can add a tablespoon of icing sugar to the cream, but I personally feel that this makes the cream way too sweet because you already have the sugar from the caramel, the biscuits, and of course the natural sugars from the bananas, which becomes a little bit of sugar overload. So you can spread this however you want. You can make it a little bit more elaborate with spoon strokes, or you can just keep it simple like I am, because I feel like that is the easiest way of doing it. So you just want to create a thin layer just to cover the bananas up, and we will be covering the cream with some melted chocolate to just give it sort of a more polished final look after this. don't worry, my fingers are clean. I washed them before I started and after each final step. So no germs. So as you can see, there is a layer of cream covering the pie. Now I am going to put this back in the fridge for a few minutes whilst I melt the chocolate to add the final decorative layer. So I am now going to be adding the final step to the banoffee pie. I'm going to be adding the final step to the banoffee pie, some chocolate that I have already melted. I will drizzle it on top to add a more polished and final look, because I don't think that having just cream and bananas showing is the nicest way of finishing a pudding, especially when it tastes so good. After I have finished with the chocolate, I'm going to put this in the oven for 3 to 4 hours approximately, because my parents have guests for dinner tonight and I will be serving this as their dessert, which I hope they enjoy, as all of them are big bananas. So I'm going to put this in the oven for 3 to 4 hours approximately, as my parents are having friends over for dinner tonight, and as they are all big banana fans, I will be serving this as dessert. I hope they enjoy it, and if I am lucky, I will see if I can get them to comment a little bit on the pudding. Thank you for watching. I hope you enjoyed.